Hey there, busy business people. I'm here today with another entrepreneur taking action, Tunji Olijimi. He was able to write and publish 4 books, even though he has dyslexia. Now he's helping teach other entrepreneurs how to write books that establish themselves as experts in their industries, and I'm going to get the scoop on how he does it. To kick things off, will you tell us a little bit about kind of what you do, who you are, and like for the people that don't know what dyslexia is, can you explain that one a little bit as well?
Okay, hey everyone, my name is Tunji Olijimi, and thank you, Christina, for having me on air. I really appreciate it. So what I do is I help people take their ideas out of their head, put it on paper, and turn it into a book so they can use it to increase their impact, their influence, and their income. So, for me, when I did my first book, I wasn't sure I could do it because of having dyslexia, like you said. And dyslexia basically is um, uh, probably call it a disease that kind of makes you probably read something else that's on the paper, or you're slow to understand things, and you're not good with grammar and spelling and all those kind of stuff. Um, but even though I had that, I was still determined that I'm going to just make something of myself. 'Cause I didn't do too great at my studies, didn't do too great at university and stuff like that. But I told myself, no matter what, I still want to do something in my life. So I made sure that when I ticked that box off of writing a book, I said yes, because my studies weren't that great. So from there on, I said, okay, I've written 2 3 books. People kept asking me, oh, how'd you write a book, how'd you write a book? And I thought, well, I'll show you. And I showed one person and another person. I thought, wait, I might as well just turn this into a business. And that's what I did. And now I've been helping people write and publish their books in 90 days or less.
That is astounding. I know some of the best entrepreneurs that I've met, that's exactly what they did. They overcame an obstacle and then they saw an opportunity to help other people overcome the same obstacle. And those are some of the best businesses that I've seen. And like you guys are able to get such better results because like you're doing something that you have a passion for, right? And that you've had to, overcome and experience yourself. And I think it's just amazing. Now, like, what made you decide a book? Why did you want to write a book? Like, you knew this was going to be an uphill challenge. Like, why a book specifically?
Because at the time I had a message to share. During that was a difficult time of my life. I was a full-time carer for my mom, who had diabetes, kidney failure, and a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And I had time on my hands, I would say, because I was at home full-time for 5 years.
Right.
So when not taking care of her, whenever she's sleeping, I just had time to write. But what got me writing was a friend of mine had written and published a book. And I thought, hey, if he had done it, then I can do this. Why can't I do it? How come I've never thought about writing a book? I have something to say as well. Because I'm a pastor, so I preach and I teach. And I was teaching about worship. And I thought, oh, I love teaching this topic. Let me write a book about it. So, and that's what I did. And I wrote that book, and it just opened up so many doors to TV, radio, speaking engagements, invitation to sing because I lead worship and all of those kind of stuff. And I just thought, wow. So this is what a book can actually do for you. It can actually open up doors. So I wrote another book, and that opened up more doors. And yeah, it's just been great since then.
Oh man. Now, like, what are some of the biggest doors that got opened by having a book? Like, what were some of the coolest things that you got to do?
Um, TV, I would say, definitely TV. Because obviously I never thought I'd go on TV. Well, okay, I did go on TV once or twice before because of being in ministry, but being able to just go on TV and speak about that particular topic was a big door opener for me. And then being invited to speak at large events and being able to just impact people's lives, because that's what I'm about. It's more about the impact. I feel that we need to be, touch people's life. We have to touch people's lives. That's what we're here for. Not just me, myself, and I, but being able to impact people and transform people's lives.
That is absolutely awesome. I loved it. So like I know like you wrote and published your own books, but you're also teaching others to write theirs. Like what kind of successes and accomplishments are they achieving, your students, after they're writing books?
Yeah, I've been able to help people write a book in 7 days, less than 60 days, 90 days, some people longer, but mainly 90 days. And it's just been amazing to see that someone can just take what I teach and be able to just go on, run with it. I've had students who've been able to turn that idea into a business and now build a brand just from their book. And that book is now turned into a money stream that they can use to fund their lifestyle, and they're able to use to make more impact because they've turned it into an online course or a coaching program, into a full blown business. Most people say, oh, I want to write a book, I just want to put my book on Amazon. That's great, that's fine, but why not make more impact? Turn that book into a machine that can touch people's lives, not just buying a $10 book on Amazon, but why not, coach someone, consult with someone, have an online course, and do other things that can really take someone from where they are to where they need to be. So that's what most of my students have done. They've written their books fast and been able to transform or transfer that information in the book into a business.
Oh man, that's amazing. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it like that, but for the people that have a lot of just amazing knowledge in their head, it's trapped there. Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing podcasts and having people run challenges and stuff with me and, to pull that knowledge out and get it out where they can have impact. But yeah, in that process of putting together a book and to building those chapters, they really are. They're creating courses, they're creating coaching programs, they're solidifying their knowledge into something tangible that they can. That's amazing. Like that didn't even occur to me as I was researching all of your stuff and I was coming up with the best questions to ask you to pull stuff out. I didn't even think about that. That is absolutely amazing. Okay, so I know like this is something you teach people to do, so I don't want to give away all the secret sauce, but you've got someone who's starting with an idea and they end up with a book and it all happens over 90 days. Yeah. Like, what does that look like? Are they like chained to a desk writing and scribbling notes frivolously like all day, every day? Like, how are they ending up with that book from the idea?
Okay, so from idea to manuscript, you need to understand, you need to first plan your book. The reason most people don't get their book done is because they start writing first. Have a plan first, and within that plan I ask 5 questions, which I call them the 5 W's. Why do you want to write the book? You need to understand your why. What's the reason to write in a book, and what's the reason to becoming an author? Because some people write the book but don't publish it, so they're not an author yet. So
very
you
true.
need to know why you want to write it, and then why you actually want to become an author. Because what is the book going to do for you, and what's the book going to do for your reader? There needs to be 2 reasons the book is done for you and your reader. And then you need to find out what exactly you want to write about. Don't just tell me I want to write a book about finance. That's too broad. There's so much things in finance that you can write about. So narrow down and pinpoint the exact topic you actually want to write about, so that when someone picks up that book and they see the title, they know that, oh, this is what I've actually wanted to read on, and they can pick it up and read it. And then you need to find out, who is your book for? Who is the actual person that's gonna buy the book? Who are the first 100 people that you can speak to that you know they need your book the most? So pinpointing and narrowing down on your niche is very important, because if you're turning that book into a business, you want to know that those people can pay more than $10 for a book.
Right.
So you need to really narrow down on who those readers are. And then the next one is, you need to know, when is the book coming out? There must be a deadline. If I say 90 days, so you need to have a deadline. So August to October, what are you going to do within that time to get that book done? I tell people this: you need to spend 1 hour a day on your book. If you spend 1 hour a day on your book, you can actually get your book done in 60 days and then get it published in 90 days. Okay?
Wow. Yep.
Then the last thing is, where is your book going? What's the bigger purpose for the book? Is it just going to go on Amazon, or do you want to build a business, make more impact, add more influence, and make more income with the book? So when you plan that book with those 5 W's, then you go into the next part, which is preparing the book, outlining those ideas that you've got in your what? Just brain dump. Do a brain dump of everything that you know about that topic, outline it, and then you now start writing. Don't start with writing. You plan, you prepare, then you pen it, and you'll be able to get your book done in 90 days.
Sounds really similar to what, I do when I'm helping people build websites or writing blog articles or plan a content strategy online. You're doing almost the exact same thing that I normally do, but for a book. I love it. It's like, it sounds like you've got some of the foundations of the story brand methodology where you're, really thinking about your who. And then there's so much in there around like how your business is going to help them and how they're going to help your business. And I think that's so crucial. I talk to so many people, they have no idea. They're like, I just want to do, insert tactic here. And they have no idea why.
Yeah.
It's just something they thought they wanted to do, but there's no strategy. There's no plan. There's no bigger picture. And I love that you're taking, something as simple as a book and you're turning that into a business plan, into a life-changing transformation just to publish. I have never thought about it that way. Never in a million years.
You're selling a book, right? So whatever you're selling is a business. So you need to think about it in that way. They say a book is a new business card, because if you give someone a business card, they'll probably throw it away or keep it in their drawer. But if you give someone a book, they definitely won't throw that book away. They'll definitely read it at some point. So why not make that book good enough so that they can contact you and get into your business? So you need to definitely think along those lines. How do I turn this book into a business? And how do I plan it out properly, prepare the content properly, then pen it properly so that when I publish the book, it's a no-brainer.
Now, what about people who already have a business? Do you work with any of those to help them get a book out that supports the existing business in new ways?
Definitely. So anyone that has a business ready to use that book to expand and increase the business. Because a book is a door opener, like I said. So most people have a business, they're not speaking yet. Most people probably have a business, and in this day and age that we're in now, you need to be online. So you probably have a business, but you don't have a coaching program, you don't have an online course, and all these things that you can get from the information of a book. So I definitely work with people who have a business and use that book to help them build that business.
I know I've talked to like some marketing agencies, like especially ones that are really heavy on like story brand and things like that. And they'll tell me that they're going to mail something out. So like all their new clients, they'll mail out 1 or 2 books that are kind of the foundation to how they work with you and things like that. So they'll mail the story brand books, but I bet you they haven't really thought too much about writing their own book and mailing that out to people, because that would make a lot more sense.
Yep, much more sense.
Give yourself that credibility, and then you can use it for your own marketing, things like that. And I mean, I always talk to people about how much it really does build your credibility, to get a book out there. Because, one of my companies, we ghostwrite for people. So we do ghostwriting blog articles, books, and things like that. But they kind of come to us with the idea already. We're not really coaching them on how to do better with the book. We're just helping them write it and get it done, right? They give us all the ideas, we clean it up, turn it into a polished thing. But so I'm constantly telling them there's so much potential. Definitely. When you're doing books, like there's just so much potential. The instant credibility, like it's a relatively simple thing to do, but that still has so much credibility, because everybody's got websites, everybody's got online courses, everybody's got like all this other stuff. But for some reason, books are still kind of this final frontier that so many people just struggle to do. So I absolutely love it. Now, speaking of people getting stuck, like where do they usually get stuck when they're trying to write and publish a book? And like, how do you help them overcome that?
Yeah, so going through that process, I have 6 P's. So the planning stage, the preparing stage, the penning stage, the promotion stage, publishing, and then the profiting stage. So going through those 6 P's, especially the planning and preparing stage, will help you get unstuck. The only reason why you have writer's block is because we've not planned the book. You can't have writer's block if you plan your book. If you know exactly what you're going to write about, you can't be stuck. So if you plan everything out and it's on paper, it's in front of you, you've done, we use mind mapping. If you've done a mind mapping and you can see what exactly you're going to write about, and you've outlined it to say chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, you know what's going in each chapter, you can't be stuck. You definitely can't be stuck because there's a plan in front of you that you're going to use to work your book.
That is such a simple strategy. And it's like, I bet a lot of people really haven't thought about it. I mean, we use that when we're writing blog articles. We have a template kind of format that we use where it's like we examine this client, we examine this topic, and then we're like filling in the blank and helping make it happen. I hadn't thought about that with books, though. I know people will plan out the chapters, but I don't think they really put as much thought into what goes into each chapter, do they? Like they just, that bullet point outline of chapters comes pretty easy, I bet. But after that, then what?
And there are lots of free tools. I use a tool called Workflow that you can use to just outline anything. Your book, your online course, your coaching program, whatever it is. Workflowy.com is free. You can just use it to outline anything that you've mind mapped or anything that you're thinking of doing. Just use it to outline it, and it's great. It's amazing. But you do bullet points, yes, but you need to expand on that bullet point. Don't just put up one bullet point and say that's a chapter. You need to expand on what exactly is going into that chapter, because that chapter needs sections. So what's going to be in the chapter and what section is going in that chapter and what's going to be in that chapter, in that section, sorry. So what I tell people is this: you need about 60 to 100 pages, okay? And within that, you need about 8 to 10 chapters. Within the 8 to 10 chapters, you need at least 5 to 10 points to discuss within each chapter. And that's your book.
That's powerful. Now, what about things like forewords and introductions and, any like term dictionaries in the back of the book or any of these things you normally see in books? Are they applicable to business style books, or, how would you approach some of that?
It depends on you. If you want a forward, then it's best to get a forward from someone that is more notable than you in your industry, so that when someone picks up the book and they see the name, they're like, yes, I need to read that book. So approach people. Some people are so scared. You just need to just email, find them on social media. Don't stalk them, but find them and find a way of getting through to them and say, hey, I'm writing a book I follow. First of all, you need to follow them, like their stuff, watch what they do, know about them, and tell them that, hey, I've been following you for a while, I love what you do. I would love if you can do the forward to my book. And you never know. They may say yes, so find out if that's possible. Introduction, you can write your own introduction. No one else needs to write your introduction. It's your book, so you can write your introduction yourself. Reference, if you're going to be referencing, then definitely you need to do the referencing at the back of the book. Don't take things and pretend it's yours when it's not. So make sure you do the right referencing if you are going to be using anything that's not your own material within the book. You may not need to do it at the back of the book. You can do it within the book while you're writing the book. If you just want to say a quote from someone, just put the person's name after that quote. That's you referencing that person. So it's up to you however you want to do it.
Now, what about things like titles and cover designs, and like how important is all of that?
Okay, so now that's the publishing process. So, when you finish writing a book, you need to know how to get it published. And getting it published means you need to go through a publishing process, which is the book cover design, editing, proofreading, formatting of the book. There are lots of websites out there. People say, oh, I've done my book cover on Canva. Not sure about that. Canva, yes, it's great, it's good, but a book cover design on Canva is not really going to cut it. I am a professional book cover designer. You can work with a coach like myself, or you can work with an actual publisher, or you can go on websites like Fiverr is okay, but websites like Upwork.com, 99 Designs, Design Crowd, those are the type of websites you want to go where you can, hire professional designers, which is going to cost you more than $5. So that's why I said Fiverr is not that great. It's definitely going to cost you anything from $100 upwards to get a very, very good cover designer from those websites. And you can also get book editors, proofreaders, formatters as well from those websites to get your book ready for publishing. So now when you want to publish, you need to decide, okay, what platform am I going to use? Do I want to go traditional publishing or self-publishing? Traditional publishing, if you're a big shot, yeah, definitely do it, because if they give you an advance, they want to know they're going to make their money back. But if you don't have up to at least 10,000 followers on each of your platform, they're probably not going to deal with you. So you need to make sure that you're someone that they can make their money from. Okay, so you don't really need traditional publishing. Everyone's self-published nowadays. Even big-time entrepreneurs are self-publishing because it's the easiest way to go. So just find a self-publishing route. KDP, Amazon's company, Ingram Spark, Lulu.com. These are websites you can use to self-publish your book. And that's your book done. When you've found out what platform, you make sure that you tell whoever's designing your book and formatting your book, it needs to be for that particular platform, so that when you're uploading the book, it's not rejected.
No, that makes sense. I know, like, I've messed around with it just a tiny little bit, making those little notebooks on Amazon KDP. I think it took me, and I mean, I've been a professional designer. Like, I've done design work, have all the Adobe suites, do logos and all that for like 15 years. It took me like 4 hours of tweaking the layout for a lined notebook. An 8.5 by 11 little composition book with a fancy cover and lined paper. 100 lined sheets of paper on the inside. That was all it was.
Wow.
No text, and it took me hours. It was ridiculous the amount of time. So I could definitely see the value in hiring someone that they have done that. They have learned it. Like you give them the text and they go poof.
The book size, you need to know your book size because the cover and the manuscript needs to be the same size. So if you don't know anything about book sizes and you just go and put up your manuscript, it's not going to be accepted because you need to choose what size your book is. So you need to make sure you know what type of size you want your book to be. So research on book sizes as well.
Oh yeah, there's so many different options for all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely intense. I know we've talked about like all of the good things about books and all the value in it. Is there ever a scenario where you would tell someone you shouldn't write a book? Like, this just is not for you. It's not worth the time. When would that happen?
If you just want to share your story with no impact, then don't write a book. If your story is not going to be used to create impact and transform someone else's life, then don't write a book. I just want to write a memoir, I just want to write my biography. Yeah, that's fine, but what is it going to do for the person reading it? If it's not going to transform their life, if it's not going to give them a step-by-step solution to their problem, then don't write a book. Yes, it's great. We say, yes, we all need to leave a legacy. Yes, that's true, but a legacy that leaves impact. So make sure that your book is going to make impact and have influence on someone.
That is absolutely awesome. I love it. I threw that question in there thinking like, I couldn't really think of a scenario. I was like, maybe you would. I love that. If you're not going to put something out there that makes impact, and I tell people that all the time about content in general. If you're going to put the effort into putting something out into the world, think about how someone's going to use it. Think about how it's going to make their life better. How's it going to change something? Fix even this podcast. That's its goal. If you're thinking about writing a book, you're going to learn something on this. It's like that's what you should do with any content you put in the world. I love that. All right. So I know I've had you for like 23 minutes here. So we've been going for a little bit. Just to kind of wrap it up, you help people do all this. So tell us what that looks like and then share some final kind of tips or advice for somebody that's thinking about going this route. And let's help them move forward on getting a book done.
Awesome. Yeah. So our help people is I coach them basically. So 90 days of coaching to help you go from no idea to published author. And if you want to build a business with a book, then yes, we do that as well. But some people just want to publish the book. But definitely building a business with a book makes more sense. So we do a 90-day coaching program where I hold your hand and show you these 6 steps, the 6 P's, in order to help you to go from no idea to published author. So I run lots of challenges. I do challenges every 2 months or so to help people for free. And obviously at the end of it, if you want to work with me, yes, we can work together that way. So it's a 90-day program that I offer to help you go from no idea to published author. So one other tip I will give you is belief. If you don't believe that you can become an author, or even with anything, nothing's going to happen. The best book that you can write is the one you write yourself. The, you know, yes, I love ghostwriting services, but sometimes I tell people, write your book.
Oh
Because
yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I mean, I own a ghostwriting company, but we're only as good as what we're given.
yeah,
You know,
definitely.
if you don't get that knowledge out of your brain, if you don't put something together that is good, like all we can do is improve
On
what
it.
you put down. You don't need us to write it for you. You need us to help your thoughts flow
But you need to
sometimes.
believe. And the thing is, most people have a negative mindset towards everything. So, like I said, I have dyslexia. And so I had that mindset of, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And I had to break that. So we need to break that belief of, oh, I'm too scared to get my book done. Who's going to read it? Who's going to want to listen to what I've got to say? Oh, that topic's been done before. I don't need to do it. So many people have done it. You need to
Yep.
believe that you can get this done. And what I tell people is this. I tell them to say this when I work with them. I am an author. If I see it in my mind, I can hold it in my hands and I can make my book a reality. You
Yep.
say that, you repeat it so that you believe it and you know that you can actually go and do it.
Yep.
Whatever you say after the word I am is what you become. So if you tell yourself I am an author, then you're going to go and become that author. So
Yep.
that's what I will leave with you is believe that you can do it, and just go get it done. Just go get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a firm believer that nobody has written the content that you could write.
That's it.
Nobody. Like that topic may have been covered, but not from your point of
Not from
view
your point of
and
view.
for the specific audience that you want to help.
Yeah,
You know, it's like nobody has done that combination before because nobody is you plus them.
that's it.
You
I've
know?
asked people, oh, do you know the book Think and Grow Rich? They're like, what book is that? I'm like, what? How can you not? Because not everybody wants to read that book, but probably if you write something on it, they might read it.
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah.
Now, if somebody wanted to work with you, I know you mentioned that there's the free challenges you're doing every couple of months and you've got your 90-day program. Where do they go?
You can follow me on social media. So PST Tunji Olijimi on Facebook and Tunji Olijimi everywhere else. And if you just contact me, then yeah, we can have a chat and have a free 30 minutes, 45 minutes call, see where a good fit, and then yeah, take it from there.
Yeah, and guys, I will have that wherever you are watching this recording on the interwebs because it will be all over the place. I will have those links somewhere around this video. So go look and find them. They will be there. And yeah, absolutely, guys, take him up on that. I think that is one of my biggest pieces of advice is take advantage of these little 30 minutes and 45-minute calls that experts are willing to give you. There is nothing that will grow your business faster ever. Like that's how I have avoided so many potholes is I will talk to anybody. If they will give me 30 minutes of their time, I will pick their brain for every little nugget of expertise I can get, even if I have to do it myself. Be honest with them though, let them know like, hey, I'm not in a position to afford you right now, but I appreciate you so much. Share it out on social media. Be honest with them where you're at. But, take people up on it. And if you can hire them, hire them. It's always better. It's always faster. Always to hire somebody that knows what they're doing.
Pay it forward.
Yep, absolutely. So, guys, thank you so much for being here today, for doing this, and for sharing your advice with us today. It has been amazing. There were so many good tips in there.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Now, entrepreneurs, this is your call to take action. Okay, join our community at etatoday.zone and learn how to build a business that enables your lifestyle instead of taking over your life. See you on the next call, guys.